Welcome to GBALL VISION, everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. I have an exciting video for you guys today. Not only do we have an unboxing to get into, but we are going to be doing a little transformation with this Nimble T version 2 from EDC. They are live on the website as of recording this video. There was still a couple versions that were left. I know one sold out completely. Now, you cannot get this version that you see here in this exact configuration. He does have some belt satins. He does have some honeycombs, but he does not have where you can get the blackened, old school looking honeycomb finish with the satin and then the all brass accented hardware. There is some minor changes. This is a one-off that I won from EMPEDC on a giveaway that he had done on Instagram. So this is a little different of a flavor than what you can get, but you can get something very similar. I added the Zircuti pivot collar on there to give it a little splash of color, but we got something very exciting to get into for this guy. So we have a package from EMPEDC, and I have been dying to get into this thing and see what we got going on and get this on the Knife. So we got a fat little satchel of hardware there, and we got some stickies from EMPEDC, the man, the myth, the legend, John Rusk, the designer behind the Nimble. So what we have is a full Zircuti set, all the hardware. You have a pocket clip, backspacer, you have pivot collar, I believe. Yes, pivot collars, all new hardware set as far as your screws, backspacer, and this is definitely some of the finest Zircuti that I have seen. And I have quite a bit of different stuff. Now, this is very good looking stuff. This is Zircuti on the Thick Boy version 2, which is a recent acquisition on the Zirc. And then here is the Ronin with some gold Zircuti. It has some like blue and white hues in it. So that is another option. There are so many options when it comes to aftermarket hardware and EMP's knives. This is a gold Mokume pocket clip on the Relative, and it looks absolutely stunning. And then we have a Zircuti kit on the OG Nimble, and there you can see it looks a little different. It looks similar, but it looks a little different. It's got some lighter hues in it, so I am stoked to get some of this stuff out, and we will get started disassembling this knife and re-putting it back together. Now, I have not had this knife apart. The only thing I had done is I took one side off, put the pivot collar on, put it back through, put the pivot back through, and then took the other side off and just switched the collars around. So there actually has not been a disassembly done on this knife. So I'm excited to get into that as well. I'll be changing these collars here for those ones, and then those will probably go back on my version 1 here, or maybe I'll find a different place for those. I don't know yet. I might do some switcherooing. I don't know. We'll have to see what I got and what's on what knife. So we'll need a few things to get started with this guy. Let's go ahead and we'll get a microfiber cloth out. Let's get our Stanley stubby screwdriver out. We'll get some KPL knife pivot shield. We'll get our gnome, our coffee gnome, so he can keep us on track. And what else do we need? How about, yes, some KPL, the original solution. And that should do us. Now, this should be all T8 construction. So we'll only need the stubby for disassembly, I believe. Now, the last time I did a full kit swap, I remember having to, I put the knife back together and then forgot to change, what I forget to change. I want to say it was on the Segaha version from Urban EDC Supply and EMP EDC. I forgot to put the lock bar screw in, and you cannot take that screw out unless you have the knife apart, because you got to be able to hold the insert in. So there goes the pocket clip and the screws. So that'll be kind of a done deal. We're going to have to take this guy out. Now, this hardware, I love the finish on this brass accented hardware. It's like it's not really brass though. It's very nice. It's like a gold finish almost. It's got a really cool look to it, and I'm a huge fan of it. It's actually what came on the Nimble X version 2. Now, I don't remember. I think the Nimble X version 2 does have pivot collars. So maybe I'll see if these pivot collars will fit on that knife, actually. Now, a lot of the parts and pieces for the Nimbles and the relatives and all that sort of thing are not going to be transferable. You're not going to be able to use everything on every knife. Most of the hardware is specific to each knife. So you can't buy a Tanto hardware kit and expect all that stuff to fit on, like the relative, for instance. Completely different OEM, different sizes on stuff. Like even the pivot collars, they will not fit this knife. They're just a little bit different. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind. Do not expect to order just a random kit and then it fit on any other knife but the one you're buying it for. Now, this kit will work on a version 1 Tanto. So that is something to also keep in mind. You can use this on the version 1, but if you did not get your hands on this kit, I believe they are gone now. So good luck finding a kit, and they can be kind of hard to get after the initial drop. Now, he does do some other ones, random drops. So we'll need the smallest screw for that guy there. Look at that. That stuff is absolutely beautiful stuff. So that'll be a T8 on that guy. I'm not going to take that off. We'll just keep that on there. I'm not going to take it off and clean it or anything like that. Under the insert, I'm saying. Now, the other thing I wanted to cover as well is he does have some other knives up on the site right now ready to go. He's got some relatives that are in LMAX. He has some Ronins that are also in LMAX. Now, the Ronins are getting depleted. There's only one version left of the Ronins. It's the all stone washed version, which would be great for modification and stuff like that. So these, those are two of the same size. So I'm guessing the two longer ones are the pocket clip screws. So the two longer ones are the pocket clip screws. And then he also sends some extra hardware aside from the Zircuti kit. So what we have here, now we will need, instead of using the ones out of those backspacer or that backspacer, we'll go ahead and use the new one, just so we can save a little bit of time. Maybe. Oh, they go in a certain way. I see. Okay. So those will fit down in there. Knock the camera around. Now these will be standard body screws. So that they have like a squared side. So there are only 3 body screws when it comes to the nimbles. There's only 3. So that one went on nice. This one went on pretty crappy. I don't like how that's going together. There we go. I always get worried about stripping the screws because I've had it happen on, look at that. I've had it happen on expensive knives before. So that is a little yucky in there. Ew, that's a little yucky in there. Let's get a little KPL. Little KPL, the cleaner. And protector. Oh, well finished. That stuff is, he has really upgraded these knives. So let's get some KPL under here. You can put on your finger or you can put it right around the rim either way. So what we have left is, so we need this guy, which looks absolutely stunning. That is some nice looking stuff there. So that will be a D-shaped pivot. And typically your, oh, see, look, I already forgot a collar. That's where you screw up, guys. You forget that one thing, start putting it back together. Look at that. That looks phenomenal. So we need a bearing. We need some KPL. Where'd that come from? Oh, that's the other body screw. Okay. Now we need another collar. And so because that's a D-shaped pivot, it's a lot easier to kind of reassemble the, look at that. What a dumbass. Put a little KPL on the bearings. And that'll fit together nice and snug. Now we're back in business. So we have one more body screw. Almost centered up. I think that'll just be a matter of changing so the taller one is going to go all the way through. I thought the clip screws were both the same size, but they are not. So that is another thing to keep in mind. And then we have our last screw here. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Okay. Ooh, look at that thing. Oh, beautiful stuff. Check the action. It looks like it's a touch off to the show side. Just a touch. Ever so slightly off. Not enough to really bother me. Still a touch. It's not bad. I don't know if it's worth. I don't know if it's worth taking the knife back apart for. It's literally just a touch. Probably not noticeable on camera, but it is a smidgen off. But the action is still on point. And she looks absolutely stunning with the Zircuti hardware, pivot collars, pocket clip, backspacer. Shoo. Now, there might be a knife coming soon that I can put this hardware on, and this hardware might be coming off of this knife. We will have to see about that, but there could be a different knife that this stuff will go on that I might end up picking up. So we will have to see about that. You'll have to stay tuned for that information. But that is the Nimble Tanto version 2 with the Zircuti set, the whole set. And it makes this thing look even better than it already does. The video doesn't do it much justice, but it is some absolute stunning looking stuff. That'll wrap this one up, guys. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. If you're new here and you are not subscribed, click the GBALL Vision logo, or down below the video, you can click the subscribe button, check the bell. You're definitely going to want to stay tuned. We got a lot of fun stuff coming down the pipe. I will throw up 2 new videos that you should definitely go and check out. Love you guys, and I will catch you on the next one.